In this video, we'll be installing Veeam ONE version 9.5 Update 4 on a Windows 2012 server. During the process, you will see the GUI and the step-by-step process of installing Veeam ONE. At the end of the installation, we'll show you how to add a license through the Veeam ONE Monitor tool. Let's take a look at the demo. In this demonstration, we will show you how to install Veeam ONE version 9.5 Update 4 on Windows Server 2012. To do this, we're going to go into this directory and select the executable or the disk image file that will allow us to install this image. Once we expand this, it shows it's now loaded in the D drive. We can choose the setup file. Once we double-click the setup file, you see the option here for Veeam ONE 9.5 Update 4, and we can see we can choose to do a general install, look at documentation, check for training, but we also have the option to do standalone component installs. Here we see Veeam ONE Server and Monitor Client that we could install separately. For this demonstration, we're going to choose the general install. For the purpose of time, we've shortened the install process in this demonstration. The first window you will see will be the license agreement window. In here, you'll be able to, on the right side, scroll through to read all the information about the agreement. And then below, you'll be able to check a box to accept the Veeam license agreement, as well as accept the terms of a third-party component license agreement. You could view that information here. Let's select Next. The next window is Setup Type. You could choose Typical, which installs all components on a single server, which is default, or you can choose Advanced, which allows you to do this manually. We're going to choose Typical for this demonstration. Let's select Next. The next window is the installation path. In this process, it's calculating the available disk space to ensure that whichever type we chose, there will be enough space for the components that we want to install. Because we chose Typical, we're installing all the components on the same server, so we have to ensure that we have enough space for everything. This will take a little time, so we do need to be patient. Once the calculation is complete, under the installation path window, we'll have the option to either browse for a new path or leave the default path. Below the installation path, you will see that this installation requires 524 megs, which we have plenty of space for. Let's select Next. The next window is where we'll select our service account credentials. The username has already been populated in this example, so we're just going to add a password for the username selected. Once we select Next, we'll see the SQL Server instance page. Here, you will see that we're going to use the existing instance of SQL Server. With this option, you'll see that they already have a location set, but we could browse for a new location, and they also have a name set, but we can also browse for a separate database name. Below that, you'll see that we're going to use Windows Authentication. Let's select Next. In the connection information page, we can choose the reporter website port. We can also choose the Veeam ONE agent port. We can also choose a certificate, and we can even select from a drop-down list if we wanted, but we're going to keep the default and then move forward by selecting Next. In the performance data caching option, we select a local folder where we can cache performance data retrieved from monitored virtual machine objects. Let's go ahead and select Next. In the data collection mode window, we'll see three options. The first is optimized for typical deployments, less than 100 hosts and 1,500 VMs. The next option is advanced scalability deployment, which is above the 100 hosts, 1,500 VMs. And the third is backup data only. Let's select the first option, and then we'll go to Next. Now that we're at the Ready to Install window, we want to double check the list below to ensure that everything here is correct and what we want to install. Once we're sure, we can select Next and start the install process. This will take some time, and while it's installing, you can monitor each step to see which portion is being installed. During this process, the bar in the menu will turn green and show the progress of each component being installed. This will take some time, so be patient. For the purpose of demonstration, we may speed this up just to save time in the video. The following window shows us that the installation succeeded and now it is complete. Once we see this window, we can select Finish below and we will be done with this portion of the installation. With the installation complete, on the desktop we see two new icons. We see one for Veeam ONE Monitor and one for Veeam ONE Reporter below. In this demonstration, we chose to uninstall and reinstall Veeam ONE, and we did not get to see how to add a license. To do this, we'll go back and open up the Veeam ONE Monitor utility. So we go over and double-click the Veeam ONE Monitor icon on the desktop, and this will open up the interface in which we can log in. We'll stay with the Use Windows Session Credentials and select the Connect button. And then from here, we'll see the Veeam ONE Monitor interface open. In the top ribbon, you'll see a few options. One of those is for Help. Once the application completely loads, we can click on the Help option, and from here we should see in the drop-down menu the option for License Information. Now we select that option for License Information, and the window appears, and now we can see that there is an option to View Installed Key. As we said earlier, we knew that there was already a key installed, but let's go ahead and select this. This will show us the current key that we're using. Below, you'll see the option to install a license, but the only license that we have is the currently loaded license. So I can show you where you could go under, say, the C drive and install to load a license if you chose, but because it's the same license, it's going to show us an error message. This is just a demonstration to show you where you could install a license after the installation. This will conclude the demonstration on how to install Veeam ONE. Thank you for watching. This is just one of many of the great how-to videos we have on this site.